financial tech startup simply wasn't good enough for a genius like Jeff Bezos, so he would eventually take his skills to a hedge fund by the name of D. Shaw in 1990 at the age of 26.
I went to New York City and I ended up working at a quantitative hedge fund run by a brilliant man named David Shaw, D.E. Shaw & Co.
Despite now being in this extremely prestigious, high-paying job, rather than valuing the money he was being paid, it seemed as though Jeff Bezos preferred to value the lessons he was being taught by his bosses.
I learned so much from him. I used a lot of his ideas and principles on things like HR and recruiting and what kind of people to hire.
And Jeff was going to need all of the lessons he could possibly learn, because Jeff was already thinking about leaving the hedge fund with the intention of taking on the biggest venture he could possibly think of. However,
no bullshit, he just said some real good information for y'all, bro. One thing if y'all can take out of this video is learn lessons. Don't just think about the money. Learn lessons. Make yourself better. That's the greatest reward out of it. I mean, don't get me wrong. Money is it'll boost your morale, but just always try to look at something and learn a lesson out of it. You know what I'm saying? And you will learn from your mistakes and get better, and more money will come. That's how I feel. Anything to say? Hell no.
But before taking on another big venture, he made what seemed to be somewhat of an impulsive decision. He wanted to get married.
At a certain point, I decided I wanted to get married, and I had all my friends setting me up, and I had my list of criteria. And this was like good old-fashioned blind dates. I went on dozens of blind dates.
As mentioned, Jeff began to go on blind dates, stating to have gone on so many that he became somewhat of a professional blind dater.
I had all my friends set me up on blind dates. None of them worked out very well.
Perhaps the reason Jeff went on so many blind dates without successfully meeting someone was because of his bizarre criteria.
Later on in this stage of Not a Genius, later on down the years, y'all might see a couple of Not a Genius members on blind dates. So I know that was random, but he said he was going on them blind dates and he just decided he gonna get married. That's crazy though.
I ain't gonna lie, bro.
You think he just married?
I think he was going on blind dates because he already knew what he was building for himself.
Yeah,
like he had this mission. So whatever he going on blind dates because it's like they're like a shuffle. Like, you feel me? Like or you know them, like let's say a raffle or bro.
Mm-hmm.
So he's just picking shit out the box, and whichever one
suit his life,
not even suit him, but just whichever one get called out type shit.
Well, I mean,
this nigga.
I think it was like, because he did say it was just one random
impulsive decision.
Yeah, a random point in his life, he just wanted to get married. But I think on his blind dates, he was just like the one that's gonna suit me better. Do you think when he was doing the blind dates, was he doing interviews?
Yeah.
Job interviews.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. The one that suit the company better.
Yeah.
When it came to finding a partner.
When I was telling my friends my criteria, one of the ones that I would list was that I wanted a woman who could get me out of a third world prison.
He stated that this was a requirement not because Jeff planned on landing himself in a third world prison, but rather because he wanted a wife who was resourceful.
He said one of the criteria was
he wanted a woman who could get him out of a third world prison?
Yes. He wanted a wife who was resourceful.
And I said, no, it's just a visualization for somebody really resourceful, because I think that you don't want to go through life with teammates who aren't resourceful.
This requirement would eventually be fulfilled when Jeff would meet Mackenzie Scott in 1992, who he would then marry only 6 months later in 1993.
That's smart,
We dated for 3 months, engaged for 3 months, and then got married. So our whole kind of dating engagement.
A resourceful woman, somebody who could, you feel me, be that every time.
Mm-hmm.
If you rich as fuck and you know you finna go overseas and you get into some shit, your bitch come overseas and come get you out. That's smart as fuck, nigga.
And also, how do y'all feel about that? Do y'all think love is love? It's not no time limit on when you get married, or do you feel like his they met for 6 months? They was together for 6 months and got married. Do you think that was too fast?
No,
It depends on the person, right?
It depends on the person,
the situation.
People, both of y'all together, because love could be in one night. Y'all could fall in love, and it might be later on. It might be some shit where y'all don't want to be in love or don't love each other no more, but should be happening. Love is love, bro. And it might be just lust too.
One night? No,
for sure. Lust could play a big part in that, because you might just want something that might feel good for the moment, you know, and then later on, shit.
You start reminiscing about the days where you can do things on your own.
This nigga wanted to begin with.
The period was only 6 months long.
Jeff's life seems somewhat perfect at this point on the outset. A job at a hedge fund in one of the most prestigious cities in the world, newly married to a beautiful, resourceful wife. It seemed like Jeff couldn't have had it any better at the time. But as is said, when everything gets too perfect, the first thing we want to do is break it apart so we can have a challenge. And a challenge was certainly what Jeff Bezos was preparing for.
That's how Elvis did from TV.
I swear, I was just gonna say the same thing. I was gonna say, who you think behind that sludge hammer? Elvis? Oh, bro.
What propelled you to say, I'm quitting this, I'm going to start a company selling books over the internet, and I'm going to do it from Seattle? Where did that idea come from?
In early 1994, after recently becoming the 4th hedge fund senior vice president at D. Shaw & Co., Jeff Bezos began to think heavily about what he wanted from life, eventually deciding that he was going to focus on a phenomena called
a regret minimization framework,
with the goal of having no regrets during his later years in life.
When I'm 80 years old, I want to have minimized the number of regrets that I have. I don't want to be 80 years old in a quiet moment of reflection, thinking back over my life and cataloging a bunch of major regrets.
At around the same time, Jeff found out about this new...
I ain't gonna lie, y'all. I feel that same way. That's why y'all getting these videos now. Feel like I was just regretting. Hey, why I ain't start this up yet? Why when I started it, I stopped it? Man, just keep going. You don't want no regrets when you're young. I mean, old. You okay?
Yeah, I'm straight, bro. But look, though, I was going to say...
oxygen mask?
Thing by the name of the internet.
Internet is that massive computer network, the one that's becoming really big now.
An online network called Internet.
Allison, can you explain what Internet is? Now that I've...
That's crazy. So this was back in 1944?
Wait, what happened?
The internet.
The internet, that's when the first internet?
I think it was 1944. I think that's what they were saying back on this. So this when he started thinking about what he was going to do with his life. Oh. What? Okay.
We're back to this.
All right. Because the foot.
Gotten on the
New thing by
Internet.
Allison.
No.
the internet.
Yes.
At around
Thinking back that I had life and cataloging a bunch of major regrets.
At around the same time, Jeff found out about this new thing by the name of the internet.
Internet is that...
About this, the first thing we wanted to do was preparing for.
Was that the
What
Elvis?
propelled you to say, I'm quitting this, I'm going to start a company selling books over the internet. I'm going to do it from Seattle. Where did that idea come from?
In early 1994, after recently becoming the fourth
94.
hedge fund senior vice president at D. Shaw
did I
&
say
Co., Jeff
44?
Bezos began to
Yeah,
think
man.
heavily about
my
what he
bad,
wanted
94.
from life, eventually deciding that he was going to focus on a phenomena called
A regret
That
minimization
makes
framework.
sense.
with the goal of
Huh?
having no
That
regrets during
makes
his
sense.
later years in
Yeah,
life.
bro.
When I'm
I'm
80
sure
years
like
old, I
44.
want to have
Damn.
minimized the number of regrets that I have. I don't want to be 80 years old in a quiet moment of reflection, thinking back over my life and cataloging a bunch of major regrets.
At around the same time, Jeff found out about this new thing by the name of the internet.
Internet is that massive computer network, the one that's becoming really big now.
An online network called Internet.
Allison, can you explain what internet is?
Now that I've gotten on the internet, I'd rather be on my computer than doing just about anything.
The internet itself, however, is definitely exploding.
It hit, and within like 2 years, it's become so.
That's crazy.
They wouldn't know that today
Oh, bro.
you couldn't even get a net off the internet.
Powerful. The internet gave us a
Who the
whole
fuck made
world of
that?
exciting new possibilities. So I
know.
guess this is a story of
That's a good
how it
question.
changed our lives.
Nah, it's already.
When I came across the startling
Man.
statistic that web usage was growing at 2,300% a year. So I decided I would try and find a business plan that made sense in the context of that growth.
Jeff realized that he could sell products through the internet and decided that creating an online bookstore might work as a business model.
I picked books because there were more items in the book category than any other category, and so you could build universal selection. There were 3 million in 1994.
This desire to minimize regret, combined with a genuine plan of selling books through the internet, ultimately led Jeff Bezos to quit his prestigious hedge fund job and venture out into the unknown of the business world.
You had a great job. I remember you had a great apartment on the Upper West Side.
Working on Wall Street, and a year after we got married, I went to her and said, I want to quit my job.
Thankfully, Jeff's wife was supportive of the dream, which would lead them to leave New York City and head to Seattle, where the company would begin.
Get you one.
Even before she could say, what's the internet, she
woman
said,
that's
great,
gonna
let's go.
support you.
Because she wanted to support it. We're about to take off driving across the country to start Amazon, go to Seattle.
With Jeff literally writing the business plan for the company in the car trip over.
In fact, I wrote the first draft on the car trip from the East Coast to the West Coast.
Shortly after arriving in Seattle, the company, which was originally called Cadabra, was stereotypically started out of Jeff's new garage.
The movers packed their things and were already on the road when Bezos.
So Amazon was called Cadabra.
Yeah, like abracadabra.
I know.
Yeah, that shit probably was hard though.
Cadabra.
Cadabra.
Hey, you search on that Cadabra? I ordered this off Cadabra.
Back then,
Hell, they don't hit like the Amazon though.
I don't. But I'm pretty sure back then that shit was probably hard as fuck.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Cadabra. Oh, you had a commercial to that shit.
He had decided on Seattle.
Jeff Bezos then accepted his parents' life savings of approximately $300,000 and instantly invested it into the company.
Initial startup capital for Amazon.com came primarily from my parents, and they invested a large fraction of their life savings in what became Amazon.com.
Also changing the name from Cadabra to Amazon, named after the Amazon River in South America.
And he said, cadaver? And I knew then that was not going to be a good name. We changed it about 3 months later.
However, despite having this $300,000 worth of funding, the future of Amazon was far from certain. Jeff would warn his early investors that there was a 70% chance that Amazon would either fail or go bankrupt.
And I told them that I thought there was a 70% chance that they would lose their whole investment, which was a few $100,000. I thought I was giving myself triple the normal odds. It's only about 10%. Here I was giving myself a 30% chance.
Jeff had to deliver the books to the post office himself and didn't have enough money for basic machinery.
I was driving the packages to the post office myself and hoping one day we could afford a forklift.
Jeff and his team were literally packing books on the floor as they didn't even have tables.
We were so inefficient.
And a lot that just shows, man, you gotta get it by any means, man. If you're your business, man, go out there and go get it. Go deliver, drop people packages off, man. Don't be scamming people out here. There's a lot of scammers nowadays.
Efficient with our operations and logistics in those early days when there were just 10 of us. that I didn't have packing tables. We were packing on the floor on our hands and knees.
And on top of everything, Jeff had to get his wife Mackenzie to do the accounting despite the fact that she was extremely inexperienced in the area.
She did our accounting for like the first year. Was it the first year? Something like that.
However, despite these areas of inexperience on the part of Jeff and his team, the business idea...
She must have been on the side then. He said, was it the first year? She must say,
actually worked surprisingly well.
We were shocked at the customer response. Literally in the first 30 days, we had orders from all 50 states and 45 different countries. I was shocked at how many books we sold. We were ill-prepared.
Better yet, they did it without having to spend $1 on advertising.
Where did they say they got the books from?
I don't know. He was just saying why he chose books. He didn't really say where you got the books. Probably, I don't know. Probably from the library or some shit.
Nigga was stealing library books. Nigga was checking them bitches and not returning them bitches.
Nah,
nigga got a huge library bill.
That's why they implemented that.
What, the library bill? Bro, because his ass taking all the books from the library, bro.
Sell, bro.
From every library too.
Yeah.
In Seattle.
Of opening Amazon.com to the public, we didn't do any paid advertising, and all of our growth was fueled by word of mouth and media exposure.
And this initial success made sense, really. As previously mentioned, Amazon had the ability to sell as many different titles as they wanted without the inventory problems that a normal bookstore would have, all while saving their customers the time of having to physically go to their local Barnes & Noble. It was...
So he didn't go to no library.
I just said
Nah, they were just saying he didn't have to worry about the inventory of like a regular bookstore or anything like that because it was unlimited inventory. So he was in there offline. So basically he was reselling bro.
Wait.
Was perfect. Yeah. Plus, Jeff focused on what he described to be the
absolutely most important
part of
he was just saying they don't have to rely on
that has made us successful by
the inventory.
Is obsessive, compulsive focus
so
on the customer as opposed to obsession.
They was just naming like you
this
don't have
success led to
his inventory is not limited like Barnes and Noble.
Oh, okay.
Or a regular book library. That's all they was saying.
Just reselling dropshipping.
Basically. But at the same time, he had to be buying them because he was dropping them off at the post office.
He probably getting them for
the low.
That and then
unless
plus making them pay for shipping.
Unless he was like, but yeah, drop shipping for real.
That's what it is.
Or reselling, you know.
But you gotta think about it. That makes sense though too. Like if you think about it, they got their own little side on Amazon like that where you can resell shit.
I mean, yeah. Yeah.
Ain't Shopify with Amazon too?
Shopify.